Thank you for taking the time out of your busy life to watch this. Hi, my name is John Hanna, and I'm the CEO of Fairchild Private Wealth. You know, I'm deeply passionate about our company's vision and the greater good that Fairchild is achieving for our clients and obviously their families. You know, before I share with you our vision, I'd like to take a quick moment of your time to share with you how I developed and I suppose how I evolved this vision, which is ultimately there to serve you, our client. My family immigrated from Egypt to Australia back in 1969. I was 7, and my brother Paul was about 5 at the time. Now, we came to Australia because we were led to believe that Australia is supposed to be the lucky country, the land of opportunity, and so on. Now, whilst there's nowhere else in the world I would rather live, my childhood experiences were the exact opposite of that. In fact, we grew up very, very poor, living in housing commission estates. My mum and dad, well, they seemed to always be fighting about money, or in particular, the lack of it. My family never had enough, and they could never get ahead financially. I personally became extremely embarrassed about our poverty. I remember one time when I was about 16, my dad asked me to pop out of the car and buy him a packet of cigarettes. I came back and handed him his packet of Winfields, and then he asked me for that 2 cents change. He made me get back out of the car, go to the shopkeeper with my tail between my legs, and ask him for 2 cents change. That moment changed my life forever. I decided then and there I would not grow up to be like my father, financially speaking, that is. Now, my father loved us dearly. He really did. And he did the very best he could for our family. But I wanted to break free from the chains of poverty. Dr. DeMartini taught me that our voids determine our values. In other words, what we perceive most missing in our life becomes most important or most valuable to us. For example, if you're sick, you'd seek health. If you're lonely, you seek love and companionship. If you don't think you're smart enough, and that's a real void, you may seek knowledge and wisdom. Well, for me, what was most missing in my life was money. So what became most important to me growing up was pursuing financial freedom and financial security. You know, I realized that next to wanting to be loved and appreciated, people want a degree of financial security. Well, I saw my father start to give up on feeling that he could or would be able to provide his family with that kind of security. It was sad, but I saw a little of him die each day as he realized that he had to settle on just getting by, having to make ends meet, and having to become a slave to his job for the rest of his life. Each year, he was losing his spirit and drive just a little bit by little bit. After I left university, obviously my voids were still driving my values and therefore my actions. But now, I not only wanted to achieve financial freedom for myself, I had this burning desire to help as many people achieve financial independence too. Now, the problem I found when I spoke to many people and asked them this: what kind of person has a financial advisor? You know, almost 9 out of 10 would say, is it the wealthy or maybe the retirees? Now, what's interesting is when I asked financial advisors who their target markets were, the majority of them would say, we only want to deal with the high net worth or maybe the retirees because they have a lump sum. Well, what about hard-working people like you and I? People like my father who had the desire to provide the family with the very best they could, but they either lacked the knowledge, the technical skill, or maybe just a plan to help them get there. You see, that kind of knowledge and advice was usually reserved for what we call the high net worth clients. What I wanted to do was make that advice available and affordable to your average, everyday Australians. We've all heard of John Simons from Aussie Home Loans. We'll save you. Now, he's someone I have a tremendous amount of respect for, basically for what he did for people in the areas of finance and home loans and so on. You see, John Simon took on the banks and he made borrowing money much more accessible to people like you and I. Because of Aussie John, You no longer have to go to your local bank manager, cap in hand, lower your voice a few octaves, and beg them for a home loan. Well, at Fairchild, we have a similar vision, and that is to bring high-end financial advice to anyone and everyone who has a desire to bring their families a richer life. You've heard my personal story. It's the foundation of a business driven by the demands and needs of you, the client. It's the Fairchild vision that distinguishes our company from others. Our advice is provided to you in a manner that's easy to understand. It's easy to implement and to manage. Dare to dream again. A richer life? Yeah, it's for you too. Thank you so much for your time.